never started this before, so this is going to be terrible. 3, 2. I'll wait for Dan to stop yawning. Welcome back to another episode of the Bold Predictions Podcast with a new member, our friend Adam. No AJ today. He is busy with schoolwork, but we're still going to have a very fun podcast for you. We are your 3 hosts for today. My name is Richie.
I'm Dan.
Adam.
And today we have a little bit of an off-season podcast for you. We're going to start with some fantasy advice, more specifically, our top 25 draft board for the upcoming 2021 fantasy football draft, as well as a few opinions about the trades that have been going on, as well as our opinions about the free agency period. So signings, we're going to talk about our own teams, and then we'll go from there. So are you guys ready to start?
Yes, sir.
Very cool. So we're going to start with the 2021 fantasy football NFL draft. We all made a draft board of about 25 players, give or take. I think we're going to do this in increments of 5. I will start first with my top 5. I feel like it'll be pretty unanimous, starting with the top few picks, and then it'll start getting more different between each other. So with that being said, my number 1 pick is my first running back off the board, and it is Christian McCaffrey. For obvious reasons, I'll keep it short. He's a touchdown machine, even with a bad Panthers team last year. He didn't play the whole season, but when he's fully healthy, he is ready to go. Running back 2, Dalvin Cook. I have him over my running back 3, who is Derrick Henry, just because he is more involved in the passing game. But Derrick Henry did rush for 2,000 yards last year, so I feel like these two could be interchangeable, but this is how I have him. Number 4, I am banking on a big Barkley comeback. I think this offense is going to be centered around Saquon, so hopefully he comes back and doesn't tear his ACL or isn't limited in any way by that tear last year. And number 5 might be a little shocking, but I actually have Ezekiel Elliott, just because I think the Dallas offense is being slept on big this year because Dak wasn't there. Everyone just writes them off as, they're Dallas, they suck. I think the offense is going to have to keep them in games. And when Dak is in, I think that helps Elliott's fantasy value so much. So I actually have Elliott as my running back 5 here. So
That low-key convinced me to change that. Like, I knew that they were going to be nasty, that offense, but... Wow, okay, 5.
Is the O-line there? The O-line's still there.
Yep, they still have all their pieces. Again, hopefully they can stay healthy. There are reports that maybe they draft someone like Slater or Sewell, depending on who falls to pick 10 to the Cowboys. So that could help. But
They were all super hurt last year, right?
yes, yeah.
Across the board.
Okay, Adam, you want to go next? Who's your top 5?
My top 4 is the same as Richie's. Christian McCaffrey, generational talent. Yeah, touchdown whenever he wants. Dalvin Cook, center of the offense. Derrick Henry. Saquon Barkley, same thing. I think he's really going to come back from the ACL. Once again, centric around the offense. And my number 5 is Alvin Kamara. I think he's going to be always electric. Balance is insane. I mean, his workout videos, like I don't think any running back has the type of balance that he does, the way he can kind of break and slip through tackles. And I think with Drew Brees not there, he's going to be more of a focal point of an offense, even if it's going to be a 1-2 punch.
Okay. So I have the most, I guess, different list. I have CMC, then Cook, I have the same. I have Barkley. I think that with, Galladay and whatnot, I think the Giants offense might be a little more high powered. We always think that, like with Odell and whatnot, but it just didn't happen. So hopefully this time it actually happens, because I want him to get some goal line touches and not have to break a 50-yarder every time. And then my 4 and 5, I'm like really torn here. It's between Devontae and Kamara. I originally had Devontae at 4. I might want to switch him to 5 just because running back's a little more tough to get a stud at. There's less of them. So I'm going to go Kamara 4 and Devontae 5, but I think Devontae is better than any running back after that. I think he's going to have another 12-plus touchdown season easily.
That's very solid. I would agree with that. I'm surprised you don't have Henry there, but
I for whatever reason I can't deal with guys that don't catch the ball. I know he's gonna like break 2,000 yards, get 20 touchdowns. I just like if he doesn't catch the ball, it's like such a meh.
Gotcha.
I hope he will catch the ball. I feel like he's smart enough as a player to realize like that's the extension of his game.
Oh, he's good at it. It's just like it's just not how they play. Like they don't do that. He's not even in for a lot of the third downs. I don't know if you noticed this year. They actually had that rookie in. I forgot his name, number like 28, I think. They put him in all third downs. Unless it's like 3rd and 1.
Well, I guess we'll see with that. But so we'll go the next tier. I was torn between two players of the same team for this one. Because of running backs being more valued, I picked Aaron Jones over Devontae Adams, but they are my 6 and 7 players. Adams, if he plays a full season last year, gets what is it, like 5,000 yards, 35 touchdowns. So I think
Close.
with the Packers' inability to give Rodgers other weapons, I think why not Adams again? And then the same with Jones. I think Jones, given McCaffrey's touches, is just as good, just as electric. Now without Williams to take some of those carries away, I think him and AJ Dillon could be a good 1-2 punch. At number 8, someone I'm not as high on because I'm just not sure what I'm getting is Alvin Kamara. He is a beast, but I'm just not sure what I'm getting from that Saints offense yet. And maybe it'll become more clear after the draft. But when you draft a player in the top 10, you're expecting like sensational, like pretty much guaranteed value. And I'm just because of Kamara's new system or not system, new situation with either Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston at quarterback. I just don't expect him to be as productive as he used to be. So he is my running back 7, 8th off the board. 9, I have Jonathan Taylor. Coin flip, really, I have no idea what he's going to do. They re-signed Marlon Mack, which sucks. They still have Hines. Is it going to be good? I don't know. Is it going to be vultured? Absolutely. But for now, I have him as my running back 8. And number 10, I was torn between two players, again, of the same team, and I'm going to pick Tyreek Hill just because I think I guess he has a bigger ceiling than I have his teammate Travis Kelce right after, because he has shown that he can go for 202 touchdowns in a quarter of a game. So he's my second wide receiver off the board, and he is my 10th player.
Very solid. I guess I will go next again. Next up, I have Ezekiel Elliott, a little bit lower on the Cowboys offense. Can they stay healthy? I feel like their O-line is old, even if they draft some help with that. But proven that he can do it, so he can definitely go back to 1-2. Since Devontae Adams, I really think he'll at least hit 12 touchdowns. Like at least, I can really see him hitting 17 without like an issue. Even if he misses 3 games. Next up, Aaron Jones, because Devontae Adams is such a threat that opens up the backfield. You're playing with less people in the box, and I feel like it's just going to be a 1-2 punch between the two, and Rodgers just deciding which one's better in the moment. Even if they do draft some help, just drafting some help gets them more open, more involved. Next up, I have Jonathan Taylor. I really like Jonathan Taylor. I think even with Marlon Mack re-signed, I don't think it matters too much because they played before and we've seen what Jonathan Taylor can do, and last year was his rookie season. I think he can be another eventual top-tier running back in time, as long as he continues to develop in the way that he did in his rookie season. And then a second wide receiver off the board, Tyreek Hill. Most electric receiver in the game. Like Deshaun Jackson in his prime, almost doubled, which is insane. Can go anywhere, anytime, get the ball, especially when Mahomes throws in the ball. And that's 10.
Okay, so I just wanted to touch on the Kamara point real quick. I think I'm viewing it as Jameis as the starter, because if he's not, if it is Taysom, Kamara way down my draft board. He was awful when Taysom was in. They don't throw passes to him at all. The running game sucks because that's all they do. And also that goes for Michael Thomas too. And I rank him like it's not going to be Taysom, it's going to be Jameis. So I think they'll actually have a relatively all right passing attack. But anyways, so my 6 is Derrick Henry. I still think he's going to be good. He's always going to put up those 40-point games where he just breaks 200 yards, does whatever. He breaks a long run. He's always going to do that. Tyreek Hill, I think he's the second best receiver in the league, just because he's so versatile, obviously. And I mean, it's Pat Mahomes. Like if he's healthy, he's going to get touchdowns every game, pretty much. Zeke Elliott, I do agree with you guys about that offense being back. He's going to get all the touches. I think Tony Pollard had a good end of the season, kind of. It was good, and then he kind of fell off a little bit. So I don't know what they're going to do there. But assuming Zeke's on that huge contract still, he's going to probably get most of it. And then Nick Chubb at 9 for me. Just because I think he's literally like the best runner in the league along with Derrick Henry. I know they still have Hunt. I'm slightly worried about that, but even with Hunt, he was breaking 100 yards every single game. If you look at his stats, like I think he had more 100-yard games than any other running back, and he missed like 5 games. And then I have Aaron Jones at 10, just because I think last year with Devontae got I can't even tell you how many 1-yard touchdowns. I think Aaron Jones is gonna have some positive regression there. Get a couple of those. And he's still just a beast on the limited touches he gets. He gets like 15 touches a game. Half of them or about 5 of them are catches. Like he's a nice little dual threat. I'm a little worried about AJ Dillon getting some more goal line work. But I think somebody that had I think he had 20 touchdowns a season ago. I think they have to still give him much of the goal line work. So Aaron Jones at 10.
You know, he's a beast. I think it's going to be a good season for him. I would like to point out, back to my list, that I forgot about Chubb.
I was wondering, did you guys mention him? I kind of...
No, I totally forgot. I know, I wrote him down, erased him for someone else. So...
Kind of switched him back and forth a couple times.
Yeah, he's tough because he doesn't catch passes either, but he's just like Henry, but with less touches, kind of.
Oh yeah.
And I see what you mean about Jones being a little bit lower on the limited touches and the less goal line touches.
Yeah. I mean, 10's not crazy low.
No.
So that's pretty much gonna be our first round. I'm gonna insert Chubb ahead of Kamara for my list.
Yeah.
Because I just totally forgot about him. Adam, where are you gonna put Chubb, if at all?
I would probably switch him and where I have Taylor. So I would Taylor at 9. Put Chubb there.
Okay.
So they'd be right below Jones. I would say Jones and Taylor are a little bit interchangeable, but I like to do
They are.
Jones.
Oh wait, Jones. I think it's Chubb and Jones. I actually have. You guys are gonna hate where I have Taylor.
See, the problem is Taylor, and I have more similar situations later in the board. Taylor is just so hit or miss.
Yeah. You guys are gonna hate my last year. I remember everyone was like Clyde Edwards, Josh, Jacobs, any running back you could fucking think of. They put in the top 15. This year, I'm taking my receivers that are good. I think there's a lot of running backs that are overhyped.
That's very true. Also, we have the draft as well for that stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where the second round really comes into play.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. All right, so I guess this is technically by my pick 12 then, because Hill is my 11. I have Travis Kelce coming off the board, tight end number 1. He is, honestly, for a fantasy lineup, he's a game changer. Because there were 2 tight ends. Of course, Kittle was injured for most of the year, but there were 2 tight ends last year, Kittle and Waller, and then it wasn't even close for the rest. And even there was a little bit of a gap between Waller and Kittle. Waller and Kelce. So I think Kelce is very valuable. Does he warrant a first-round pick? I don't really see it that way. I still think going running back early and often is the way to go, but I think Kelce is definitely a valuable pick. So he is my number 12 player. Number 13, I have Stephon Diggs as my wide receiver 3. I think the connection with Allen will only get better in year 2. He was, in my opinion, the steal of the draft last year.
Hey, I got him in both leagues.
Yeah, him and Allen both. You know, they were definitely a surprise for how well they did. Remember, 2 years ago, we were comparing Diggs to Thielen because they're on the same team. What do we think about that? Is Thielen still better, or
Oh, come on, that's not fair. You're giving Justin Jefferson on the same field too. I think they're both with Josh Allen. Yes, I think Diggs is better for what Josh Allen is, but I think for what at the time with Kirk Cousins, Thielen is better.
Adam, what do you think?
I think Diggs is always better. I instinctively like Diggs coming out of college.
Okay.
I know Richie brings this up because just the many talks we've had about this in high school about those two when they were in their prime, with Kirk Cousins being the bum that he could be and only throw to those two guys.
I've just always had a bias
Um,
with Thielen because I drafted him in like Mr. Irrelevant pick pretty much in our I think a junior year because I saw him torch the Packers one game when he wasn't even a starter. I was like, this guy's good. I picked him up and then he had like a Julio Jones season. So
Yeah,
which is
definitely.
fair. I mean, he's still a great wide receiver.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, well,
like
one,
it's disgusting.
Thielen's red zone, Diggs is everywhere else. I mean, is everywhere else too, but where they where they're like their
I
best.
think here okay put both of them with like Aaron Rodgers. I think Thielen's better. He's like literally Jordy. Like he's just open like 24/7, best hands. Like with the red zone threat, I think Thielen would be disgusting.
I don't know. I think it really all depends on the matchup because I think there's just some physical corners out there that like don't just kind of do anything about depending on what the coverage is. Like if it's a one-on-one drill that's really advantageous to the wide receiver in general, like an in-game scenario, depending on what the coverage is, depending on what wide receiver is, or I mean, a cornerback. I think I'm gonna go Diggs like 60% of the time over Thielen.
Richie, what do you think? For
Um,
1 year, not for like rest of the career, just for 1 year.
right. Well, yeah, because Thielen's a lot older.
Yeah, yeah.
See, for me, it depends on where you are in the field. If you're just like at your own 20, whole field to go, I probably take Diggs. But in the red zone, 10 times out of 10, I'm taking Thielen because he is a matchup nightmare in the red zone. So,
Okay.
but back to the list, wide receiver 4, number 14, I got DeAndre Hopkins. I think his connection with Kyler will only get better in year 2. I think Fitzgerald's retiring, so that just leaves out another target for Kyler to throw to other than Hopkins. Now this one, again with Taylor, I'm just not sure where to put him, but because running back is so needed, my running back 9 is Cam Akers. I liked what he did last year at the end of the season. Once they gave him a lot of touches, I think he did get injured, which is not a good look. But with Stafford at that offense, hopefully they draft O-line early. He should be good. Akers should be good, but again, we don't know what they're going to do with Henderson. I don't know even know if Malcolm Brown's still on the team. So we'll see there. And then because I only said 4 players, I'm going to say Metcalf is my wide receiver 5. I have him with a list of receivers that I think are all very close, but in terms of quarterback play, I like Russell Wilson better than everyone else. So I have Metcalf as my wide receiver 5.
So I've done just my top 10, so I'm going to do my next 5 to 15. At 11, I have Travis Kelce. Best in the league unanimously. I used to argue that a little bit, being a little biased Eagles fan, but yeah. Next up, a little bit of a surprise, but is Calvin Ridley. I love Calvin Ridley. I think he's one of the silkiest route runners in the league. I think his releases are amazing. I think his hands are great. I think with Julio Jones still on that team, the fact that he's not getting the number 1, he will get the number 1, and vice versa. It's going to switch back and forth. I think Ridley's going to be a monster.
Yeah.
Next, I have Diggs. Like you said, that connection with Josh Allen, it's beautiful to watch. It's so fun to watch. The Buffalo Bills are a really great team to watch, and it's because of those 2 players. It's because of what Diggs brought over, the trade that they made to get that star wide receiver that they need to blossom with their young quarterback. I moved him down a little while since we took him out. Next, I have Jonathan Taylor. At 4, I just moved him down. I like all those other guys better. He's still good. He's still a top tier running back. I feel like if you draft a wide receiver first and he's your second draft and you get him, that's still a great RB1. Depending on how the board falls and what you get and what pick you're at. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, next up, Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins. I think he is most gifted wide receiver in the league, especially when it comes to jump balls. and I think that connection with Kyler Murray is going to get even better than it already is. And he's still relatively young. I think he's still in his prime. I think he's only going to work harder because he's on a championship-bound, ideally, team. And that's my top 15.
It's finishing up my top 25. There's some egregious players I can put there. Like, oh, all right. So let's go from top 11. So we got Kelsey at 11. I do think he is the most safe tight end. I think Kittle is just as good as him, but I think, obviously having Mahomes compared to whatever they draft is going to be much better. Then we got Diggs at the 12. Same thing what you guys said. He's in the perfect scenario. Nothing's changing. Like, he's chilling. Hopkins, I just I like him. Obviously, that's why I have him so high. There's something weird about it though. Like I don't love just they're getting AJ Green. Like I don't know. I just don't love him. I don't see too much upside, but I think he'll be consistent, like over 1,000 yards, like 8 to 10 touchdowns. This player, I low key, honestly, bro, I might take this guy over him, Keenan Allen. I know you guys didn't say him at all, but dude, he was probably the best receiver besides Devontae Adams towards the end of the year with Justin Herbert. Every single game, he was getting 10 catches, 100 yards, maybe a touchdown every other game. He was so good. This is we're finally getting that year of him having a decent quarterback. It's always been him injured or Phillip just sucking or whoever. Clearly, he's the favorite target. I think he got 19 targets in a game against Tampa Bay. It was insane. Plus, I love Justin Herbert, so I had to do that. And then at 15, I got Justin Jefferson. I guess I'm going a lot higher on these guys than you are. I have him over Ridley and Metcalf, just because I do think he has, as a rookie, he just put up 1,400 yards. You know what I mean? And that's with Thielen. And that's with the first 3 games, him not really being the starter. I just think he has so much upside. I think he's definitely better than Metcalf for sure. Ridley, I think, will still get vultured a little bit by Julio, so I think he's in the most, I don't know, I think he's in the best situation to only get more red zone touchdowns, honestly, because Thielen had literally all of them. So
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I know AJ complained a lot about Hopkins last year. I forgot about the Green signing. I think at this point he's probably better than Fitzgerald, so that actually could hurt him a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But I totally agree with you, and you add him too, with the Ridley and Jefferson, because on my list I have Metcalf, Ridley, Jefferson, but they're all interchangeable, one after another. So, I mean, that's definitely fair, yeah. So with that being said,
I think I put Ridley there because of Julio Jones.
Right, yeah.
Just matchup wise, I think he's more of a threat than Thielen. And Matt Ryan is a little bit better of a passer, I think. And Kirk Cousins, I don't know. That's really
tough.
But isn't Atlanta at the 4th pick?
Yeah.
All right, so but then
I wouldn't want a new quarterback. I'd rather Matt Ryan than get a new one, for fantasy purposes. Who would you if you had to? If you're starting GM then, since they're all young as shit, are you taking? Actually, Ridley's a little old. Not gonna lie, Ridley, Jefferson, or Metcalf. If you're just any team.
Jefferson.
Yeah, same.
He's the 2 almost combined, but I mean, he's not super crazy of an athlete like Metcalf. But he's a little bit bigger than Calvin Ridley. He's a better route runner than DK Metcalf. He's just such a solid.
I think he's the best route runner there. I think he's so silky.
It's really close.
What would you take, Adam? Is it Jefferson?
I would take Jefferson, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I guess we're all in. I mean, Jefferson just had a monster season too in his first year. So I mean, I feel like that's an easy.
Never done before, and it's with Thielen. That's why I'm and it's with Kirk Cousins. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I actually have an opinion that Kirk's actually not as bad as people think, but we'll get to that another point, but another time.
True.
But so my number 18 player then. So Ridley, Jefferson. Actually, this is my 19 player since I forgot about Chubb. Is Kittle. I think he's going to come back with a vengeance. Similar to what Dan said before, he's right with Kelsey in terms of talent, but will Jimmy G or Mac Wilson give him the targets that he needs?
Mac Wilson. I love that guy.
So I mean, we'll see. But and then I have AJ Brown here at 20, wide receiver 8. I had him last year. I wasn't all that impressed because I did think his touchdowns and some of his production was, I don't want to say luck based, but like it was a lot of 3 catches, 85 yards and a touchdown. And you'll take 17 and a half every week, but if he doesn't break that 60-yard touchdown, then he comes up short with less than 10 points. So, um,
Why are him and Derek like that? Why the fuck do they always break those? Like they do that. I don't know how to explain. It's the Titans' offense, and
yeah,
like Ryan Tannehill, super efficient too. It doesn't make any sense.
it's a great
They're
question.
so fucking good. Like they're so built. Both of
Yeah.
those guys
Oh
are
yeah.
so goddamn built. Like the shoulders on both of them are comparable to each other, and it's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, Brown's just a glorified running back at wide receiver.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then I guess this is my fifth player. I have Julio Jones at wide receiver 9. In terms of player, he's better than Ridley in a football sense, but as a from a fantasy standpoint, he's not as good as Ridley in my opinion. And the injuries. Every week he's always got a nagging foot, hip, knee, whatever it is. He's always on the injury report. So, I have Julio Jones as my final player in that range.
I just gotta say real quick, there like out of these receivers that like could be picked for all these, like Julio and a lot of the other people that I can't mention yet, like they're so you don't know what the hell's happening.
Yeah.
They're either it's their quarterback situation or like them being older or what, but like there's so much going on.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That's why, like after like 10 for me, it's really up to debate.
Yeah.
For what you're gonna pick because it's really dependent on everyone's situations. But Adam, you are next.
All right, so my 15 through 20. Keenan Allen. I kind of forget Keenan Allen a little bit. He was towards the bottom of this board, but yeah, you're right.
Yep.
He's a monster. He has some of the best releases in the league. He's up there for like the word of God. He's insane. Um, he's been consistently good in the league when he's healthy. So it's a shame that he isn't getting representation that he does, and hopefully with Herbert, a young electric quarterback, and hopefully a market that's going to get rejuvenated, he will get that status as the top tier wide receiver because he can be that. Next up is Justin Jefferson, another potential top tier wide receiver, depending how things play out. He's got a number 2 target. I think he's the number 1 target, obviously. So that's just gonna take away people in the coverage, just gonna spread coverage out, and I think he's gonna have another amazing year. Fuck the Eagles for not drafting him. Next we have Cam Akers.
Ooh.
Cam Akers, I think with Matt Stafford playing with him, I think that's going to be a really fun team. I love Matthew Stafford. I've always liked Stafford as a quarterback. I think he's always a solid quarterback. He's going to get the job done. Throw some picks, yeah, but he's not going to throw too many, and he's going to have those big yard games. Next up, DK Metcalf. I think he's the lowest of the 3 wide receivers that we talked about. I think you can honestly interchange Ridley and Justin Jefferson. I only have I have them kind of spaced out, but that bracket of players for me is kind of interchangeable. All depends on Seattle's line and Russell Wilson. Is he still going to be there? And then the last things I heard, which I think is interesting, probably bullshit. Who fucking knows? Is Philly is in the front driver's seat for Russell Wilson. And
Wait,
one of the leading factors is that the last reports I saw about Russell Wilson is that Philly's in the driver's seat for getting Russell Wilson. And one of the factors for that is because they signed Joe Flacco, who wants to start. So it could be a pick swap, a Zach Ertz, a Joe Flacco for just Russell Wilson, which would be stupid. I don't know how I feel about
what?
it, and it's probably not going to happen. Yeah. And then last at number 20, I have George Kittle. For 2 tight end. He's insane. You're right. He's right up there with Kelsey and just his profile, but quarterback situation there.
Okay. The more I'm like thinking about this list, man, I man. There are so many receivers that are equal, and I'm like just now trying to decipher like should I put Pat Mahomes somewhere here, like you know what I mean. I'm not sure about quarterbacks to be honest.
Just keep the quarterback out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I did for my list. No
Oh,
quarterbacks.
okay, good. Because
Yeah.
I don't even.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah, I don't know
so
where I would put him either.
I wonder where you have this guy because I haven't heard either of you say it. I don't think. Um, his quarterback. Let's see if you can guess it. His quarterback loves to pass it like 3 yards in front of him. Like he loves. He's like a Philip Rivers, and this guy played with Philip Rivers. Loves to catch the ball all the time. You know who that is? 3 yard eight out.
He loves to catch
Austin
the ball.
Eckler?
Yeah. He's not a receiver.
Eckler? Eckler?
Huh?
Eckler?
Yeah, Eckler 16, I think.
Oh, bro, they said quarterback. Oh my god.
Jeez, no. Yeah, Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, no. But yeah, Eckler, I have him at 16. I think he's gonna catch like, you know, I remember the one game he had 16 targets, then he kind of got like hurt again. But I think his only downside is the touchdowns from the goal line because they like the fat little Josh Kelly who sucks, fucking sucks. Um, I think Eckler's gonna make up for that touchdown, obviously, by getting 6 receptions. Probably go. I bet he'll have a game this season where he goes 100 on yards, rushing and on receiving. Um, just an explosive little guy, dude. So him at 16. We got Ridley at 17, Metcalf 18, Kittle 19, and Julio at 20. I actually didn't have Julio in here until like you guys kind of reminded me. Like I have to have Julio in here. You can't put him behind some speds. So Julio at 20.
yeah, like Michael Thomas.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
It's actually funny that you talked about Eckler because I actually have him as my next player. It's only because I have them so low. It's only because I'm just not sure what I'm getting from that offense yet. I know it's
Really?
I know it's weird to say because with a rookie QB in a shortened offseason with probably the worst head coach of all time, or ahead of Adam Gase, um, they performed well, and I do think, and I think this is probably not a popular opinion. I think Allen's going to take a little bit of a step back, but I think that's because Eckler is going to take a step up. I think they're not going to misuse Eckler, and that offense is going to be, better. But I do think they're going to have a slow start to begin with. So to recap what I said, because I probably just sounded very contradicting, I think they're gonna be slow to start, so they're not going to be as good as last year right off the gate. But I think at the end of the season they'll be firing on all cylinders, and I think Eckler will have better production than he did last year. With that being said, I have Allen at 22. Because I do think at the end of the year they're going to pick up steam. 23, I have Adam Thielen just because of his red zone ability. And I do think, like I said before, that Kirk is not as bad as people think he is. At 24, my whole list is fucked because I forgot Chubb. But at 24, I have Amari Cooper, who I think could be a little higher because I do believe in that Cowboys offense this year. And at 25, I have Waller. But at this point, yeah, but at this point, like I'm so it's so different. You can put whoever you want wherever you want.
Yeah, honestly, that's a good point. Like, put her tight end there because every receiver after that's like the same.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It depends. Like, I have Thomas, I have Cup, and then depending on matchups or like situations, like McLaurin, I have Joe Mixon, Andrews, Allen Robinson, James Robinson, Miles Sanders, all those players. CeeDee Lamb also.
Low-key James Robinson, forgot about that, especially with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my bottom five, I'm actually gonna throw in a sixth player in here just because I don't know how to squeeze them all together, but it's got to be mentioned together. Jay Brown at 21. A little bit lower depending on how my board fell with Akers up there and stuff. Still a beast, still can be a wide receiver one depending on how the season plays out. Tannehill still being extremely efficient and Derrick Henry keeping the defense honest. Next up, probably a little too high, but I feel like the offense might run through him depending on how it goes. And that's Miles Sanders. I feel like the offense can run through him, yet I also could put Austin Eckler here, who is my 26th player. I could switch him and put Miles Sanders down at 26 and put Austin Eckler back up there. Below Miles Sanders, I have Mike Evans. Love Mike Evans. I think he's just going to become more of a red zone threat. He's not super fast, but I think he's going to just be the main red zone threat in that offense, and they're championship again. Next up, surprised he's not mentioned because I feel like he's going to be another young running back that's kind of going to be the focal point of the offense. Is Josh Jacobs?
Sign
I
Kenyon
think.
Drake.
Yeah. No, I like Josh Jacobs more. I like Josh Jacobs more. I've always liked Josh Jacobs. I think he's more of a complete running back than Kenyon Drake, and I feel like Kenyon Drake can be easily traded. Then we have Julio. You gotta put Julio in the top 25. It's Julio Jones, and then right below him is either Eckler, Jacobs, or Sanders, depending on how you want to fall.
Okay. I just gotta say, as a Jacobs owner last year, there's like no upside to that guy. He like doesn't catch anything. He's like just a fatter Derrick Henry, can't break anything. Like he'll get the touches, he just doesn't do anything. It pisses me off. You rely on touchdowns with him. I just like the Miles Sanders and Eckler type more that can actually catch. Miles Sanders I don't have as high just because with Hurts, I don't think he'll catch. He's not gonna catch the same as Eckler. That's just a fact. But he probably has a better touchdown presence. Um, but anyways, mine go 21. Jonathan Taylor. Hey, there we go. Finally, I told you guys I'd have a massive gap between running backs, but I'm not making that Josh Jacobs forced running back mistake again. Um, Amari Cooper at 22. I do agree that he's like he's always been a boomer bust player. Honestly, like he could literally have him at 40, or you could have him at like 12. You know what I mean? Like it depends on the deck you get. It depends on how CD performs and Gallup and all them. But so him there. And then honestly, it's who gives a fuck after that? It's 23 Michael Thomas, because I feel like you have to have him there. He's still a great player, even with Taysom Hill in there. He still had a couple 100-yard games, and that was just a really ugly looking Saints offense that only wants to run it. I'm hoping the Saints don't be super conservative and run it with Taysom like all the time and play like that horrible style that they played at the end of last year. If they can like just open it up and be like a I don't know, just like a KC like offense. Like just fucking send it. You have like good players that can make plays. Just go all out with them. And then next I got AJ Brown at 24. I think he is a beast. It's just like always tough to put him higher because of the target issue and because like he is reliant on big plays, but he just gets them, so that's why he has to be here. But there's always that little bit of like, what if he falls off? What if the targets like aren't there? What if they increase? Who knows? And then 25, I really like. I can't pick. I had Allen Robinson because he's a beast, but Andy Dalton, whoever the hell it is, it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be like this year. He was still good this year. He was still worth the pick and everything this year. But it just got there looking in an ugly way. It'd be like 16 targets, like 6 catches. You know what I mean? So I think he's a stud. He needs to be up there. And if for whatever reason like they're accurate, the quarterbacks this year, then he's a top 5 receiver. And then I just have my bonus little 26 pick here, just because he's not actually the 26, but I have such a boner for him, Deontay Johnson. I know he's injured 24/7, but if he's healthy, my God, he gets so many targets on the Steelers offense. So
Forgot about Deontay. It's a good pick.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Just to, I guess, to talk about it, going back to Adam's thing, the reason why Josh Jacobs, in my opinion, also is now very not undraftable, but like not in this range, is because they lost 3 out of their 5 starting offensive linemen as well. So I think that's a big hit, and as well as what Dan said, they played Booker a lot. They played Jalen Richard or whoever the hell is in that backfield, and they like didn't give it to him as much.
I shouldn't have overestimated how bad those losses would be. But I still feel like he's really talented in what he could be.
Oh, yeah.
But I would probably I'd put Eckler there. You guys make a very good point there.
I have a question actually, real quick, because they're in the same draft class. Coming in, we all thought Jacobs was better than Montgomery. After the first year, we definitely thought Jacobs was better than Montgomery. Like Montgomery sucked. Last year, all of a sudden, Montgomery's like not bad anymore. Like he was doing some good shit at the end, and I have this like stigma in my head that it's like he's just like a fucking roly-poly fat dude out there. Like I can't play him because he doesn't catch passes and he doesn't break anything. But last year he had a couple 70-yard touchdowns. So it's like, did they reverse now? Is David Montgomery like he be in the consideration here? You know what I mean?
I think they're about equal now. I think we have to see what this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go against recency bias and still say that Jacobs is better, but we'll see. give it this year as well.
I think you're probably right. Jacobs as an athlete is probably better, but I do think I'm drafting Montgomery over him just because of the situation. Like he doesn't have competition.
That's fair.
Very fair. All right. Well, so that's gonna finish up our top 25 2021 NFL fantasy draft board. Of course, this is willing to change with the draft coming up. Najee Harris is a running back. Travis Etienne, two running backs that could definitely change the board and go, in this range depending on where they end up. Same with the receivers. Blanking on them. Chase, Smith, Waddle. Depends where they all go. But this was good. Now, what was that?
Depending on how quarterbacks fall could also change the way the wide receivers play out too.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Because like DJ Chark, that could be disgusting.
I definitely agree. Wait, what, Adam? I'm sorry.
Does Lawrence want to play with that?
Oh, I think that was a meme. I think that thing.
Sorry.
I think he's got it because Urban Meyer has shown to be really good with young QBs, and it's Jacksonville. You're in Florida. Why would you not want to?
Chark and James Robinson. It's not even bad. Like it's really not that bad. If you just get like somewhat of an O-line and a defense.
And an underrated signing, in my opinion, they signed Marvin Jones, who I think
like that a lot.
Could still be pretty solid. Yeah. But so we don't have that much time left because we do have a schedule. So we're all gonna just pick one free agent that we liked, under the radar signing, or maybe not so under the radar that we liked, and just pick one. I have a few written down here. So I'll start with Marvin Jones, and I'm gonna say another one just after because I like this a lot. So I think Marvin Jones is very solid. In an offense last year that had Matthew Stafford at the helm, he played well. There were some weeks where he didn't throw it to him, but I think that's just more of the Lions' incompetence more than the player itself. I thought he would follow him to LA Rams and have a very solid wide receiver core there in Los Angeles, but he didn't. Probably took more money to go down to Jacksonville, which is fine. I think for 1 to maybe 3 more years, Jones could be very solid for Trevor Lawrence, and I think that was a good signing.
All right, I guess I'll go next. I got the fat boy in the trenches, leaving my team, going to the Los Angeles Chargers. We got Corey Linsley, the center. I think this is huge. He's reuniting with Brian Bulaga, who now be healthy this year. This Chargers O-line is going to be completely revamped. Now with the new coach and everything, Justin Herbert's going to have some time in the pocket. It's going to be a beautiful thing. I love the Chargers this year. I've always loved the Chargers, but this year it's like they always have a roster. Now can they just please do something with it with this O-line? So yeah, I think he's like such an important signing.
I have actually just kind of 2 teams to mention. Obviously, the Broncos, I think they killed it in free agency with Kyle Fuller and along with their other picks. But mostly what I wanted to talk about was the Giants with Dory Jackson and Kenny Golladay. I love those 2 acquisitions. I just think they're young, quality players that can really contribute and potentially get better with their development staff on the Giants. I hate to say it, but I absolutely love those 2 signings for the Giants. And I don't think they were overpaid relatively. What you get after.
That's interesting. That's actually what I was going to say. I think people tend to seem that they were overpaid, and I would agree with that a little bit because the offers for Golladay were for 1 year, like I guess about $12 million, let's say, and we signed him for 18, but that's assuming that the market's going up for the next few seasons. And then a Jackson. See, the problem is all the players that we signed have some type of label as injury prone, so this could be amazing. And I think, in my opinion, this is how it's going to play down. I think next year we're gonna do well. I think we're gonna make playoffs or have a positive record. Dan, you have to remember it's the NFC East. So
Yeah.
It's not like
Cowboys
we're not beating the Packers, we're not beating the Chiefs. We're playing the NFC East. So I think we're gonna do well, and then the year after, I think things are gonna go down in shambles. And by this point, we're gonna commit it to Jones, who's gonna drop off. We're gonna have all these huge contracts that are kind of backloaded. But thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. At least you're not as bad as the Packers, who have signed 0 players. You got Joe Flacco. So, but one
I think
extra.
with Galladay though, we haven't actually seen a ceiling, like because either him or Stafford is dealing with some type of injury the whole time. So I feel like if him and Daniel can put down a full season, get some chemistry together, I think it could be pretty good.
I agree with you to a certain extent. Jones is nowhere near the player that Stafford is, so I think we probably won't see his ceiling. But I mean, I hope so. I hope so. I have no expectations because every year, like Dan said previously, Giants are always hyped. They're like, "This is the year." They got finally all the pieces together, and then they shit the bed some way.
Imagine having Odell, Evan Ingram, and Saquon, and like sucking.
Yeah. See, that's that's my thing. That's why I think Saquon's gonna have a great year because the last time Saquon had a number one receiver on the team was 2018 with Odell, and he had I think it was 1,800 all-purpose yards.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it could be Saquon's year if he's healthy. But another team I'd like to point out real quick is the Bucks. How the fuck did they bring back everyone, every single starter, even their long snapper just got re-signed the other day. Like what? I think
They finally had all their players. Like the team wins a Super Bowl. You always want everyone to resign. Like we just won a Super Bowl. Like why wouldn't we? They finally fucking realized that.
Yeah.
For years, like, hey, we just won it all. Let's just fucking run it back. Like in basketball, they do that all the time. No. But everyone's like, hey, fuck it. That's how. Like, and they finally did it. They finally came to the realization. Like, let's run it back. Let's draft some young players. Let's make some more free agency acquisitions. Let's probably pull some tax fraud so we get some more money. Get some more players. Let's just keep it rolling.
exactly, and I think it's all thanks to Tom Brady who took a not like a huge pay cut, but a pay cut, to have some of these guys resign.
Mike Evans too.
Did he take
I
one
was
too?
gonna say, yeah. I was gonna say, is AB getting re-signed, or is he going somewhere? Can he play for somewhere else?
See, I think he's gonna run it back. I think some way, if they allow him to, if they let him to come back, he'll come back. Because he's already voiced many times that he's only willing to play with Tom Brady. So
he added the Bucks when they posted like, oh, we signed every starter. He's like, sign AB on Instagram. But I heard Aaron Rodgers made 2 requests for players. You don't know who they are, but he's never like made requests really. He made 2 requests this season. Is one of them AB, and would AB go to the Packers? Because that would be fucking awesome.
Who's left for him to make a request though? That would be that would make a difference.
Maybe like TY or AB. I don't know.
But,
that'd be interesting. I mean, why
I think
would
it's AB? Oh,
yeah? Why wouldn't he go to Green Bay?
I know. It's like you want an old quarterback that's gonna give you a bunch of targets that probably have a good relationship with. Like,
Wow.
he signed one player that makes their offseason better than the Packers free agency. Eric Wilson.
yeah,
Linebacker we signed the other day, who I think is a young quality, and it was only like $3 million. If you guys sign a good quality player for that cheap, you guys like tie us in free agency. There you go. But you guys have done shit.
yeah, we're amazing. How well they do.
Really looking for that Super Bowl run.
So go, Aaron just won MVP. Let's like half-ass running back, get rid of the best thing in the league. Like barely re-sign Aaron Jones. Like have a little tipsy about it. Like we fucking suck.
All right. So with that being said, we're gonna do one more quick topic for you guys. We'll start with Adam. Ideal draft selection for your Philadelphia Eagles at pick 12. Be kind of realistic, but like also like,
Now that we are out of the lottery, the top 10, which it blows. Even if we stayed at like 10, I would be even marginally more. I'd be like pretty happy about the trade, even if we're at 10 or 8 or something like that. If we traded one of those teams. At 10, I'm hoping the way the board falls, there's a run on quarterback, there's a run on super athletic players and offensive linemen. I'm hoping scenario quarterback Patrick Surtain II falls at 12. If not, and then I would say J.C. Horn, which might be a little bit of a reach, but might not be, depending on how the board falls.
Very good. Dan, it's a toss-up to what player is going to be available at pick 30, whatever you have, so.
I can't pick a player because I don't fucking like. It's too many options there. But I'm gonna say I think for position group, I know we still slightly need a receiver, not too bad as we did last year, but I think D line is concerned with the run game. I think we have a good D line, but like they can't stop the run for shit. So we need like a big fat boy in there. We need like a Snacks Harris type of thing in there. So I don't know if there's any of those around pick 30, but we need one of them. And honestly, if we like probably another linebacker just to shore up what we missed out on last year with Lake. Kirksey was pretty good, but we just got rid of him like instantly. I wouldn't mind if we re-signed him, but yeah, I don't know. So we need a linebacker or D lineman that can stop the run.
What do you think about cornerback?
I wouldn't. I mean, they're not going to do it because they just re-signed King. They're just not going to do it. But I wouldn't mind getting like, I forget like Kyle Fuller before he got signed to the Broncos. I was like, please package. If we had Kyle Fuller and Jair, like, oh my god. But yeah, no, it'd be nice to draft one that's like a stud. But we're just not high enough to get like the studs.
Yeah.
If we had 2 lockdown corners that like, fuck the D line. Let them just stack 8 in the box the whole time.
You know, it'll be interesting.
That's the idea. Behind corner at 12, Darius Slay, who I think is still a great player, and then a young corner to develop, and then
Yeah.
rotating.
Yeah, it sucks for the Eagles because they are in line for cornerback. Dallas is 2 picks ahead of them. They're in line for wide receiver. Giants are ahead of them. They still are, in the running for a wide receiver. So, Eagles might have just, fucked themselves. But for the Giants at pick 11, our GM likes to take those hog mollies, big fat linemen, and you know what? I am finally agreeing with them this season. Well, I agreed with them last season too, but I want to take a big fat boy at number 11. I think Penei Sewell's probably out of the question, so if Rashawn Slater can drop to us at pick 11, slide him into guard, I think our offense is finally ready for this year.
Creed Humphrey.
I feel like that's a little high for him.
Sure.
I mean, if we can trade back, maybe I'd be interested. But if we just pick at 11, yeah, I like Slater there. Or again, if we trade back, then Vera Tucker is an option. Also, I wouldn't mind taking maybe an edge rusher at that point because we're still very weak at that position as well. So if we trade it back to 20, maybe a Greg Rousseau or a Jalen Phillips would be an option. But yeah, anything else to add for you guys?
Deontay Johnson is going to have 250 targets next year.
Ooh. And how many injuries?
A lot. A fuck ton.
All right. Well, with that being said, thank you guys for our first ever off-season episode of the Bold Predictions podcast. Again, like I said earlier, we'd like to have a lot more of these. We might even split this video up and just go with our fantasy football draft board and post that individually. Do you have something to say?
I'm thinking for like after this, we should start doing like individual 5-minute player breakdowns. I mentioned this to Richie a while ago, but if we do those in one long podcast, do like get 12 players out of the way or whatever, we could put out some nice 5-minute videos, and like I think those would get a lot more traction.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree with that, and we'll try to come with more content, maybe with real football too, if we have the time for that. But definitely fantasy because I think that'll be really fun to watch, especially if we can put that tape in the background as we talk over.
Yeah,
I think that'd be pretty interesting. But thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far in the video, we really appreciate it. Don't forget to drop a comment if you guys want us to talk about a certain player or anything for the podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm not sure if AJ will be back, but we like Adam. We'd appreciate if you'd come back and join us again sometime. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
all right.